In this video, I'll be recapping the story of World War II's youngest hero as told in the movie Soldier Boy. Welcome to Real Mystery Rewind, and be warned that there are spoilers ahead. This movie, which is based on the true story of Sergei Aleshkov, opens in 1940s Russia during World War II. Sergei is hanging from a tree limb and enjoying nature while his mother washes some clothes beside a river, and his older brother is fishing for dinner. The mother orders the boys to hide when an enemy plane unexpectedly approaches and begins firing at them, but Sergei heroically uses his strong slingshot to destroy the enemy's airship and defeat it. He turns around to speak to his mother and brother, but finds that they are both gone. The sound of someone knocking on the door wakes the boy up. He rushes to her aid, believing the woman outside to be his mother. His aunt's entrance, on the other hand, surprises him. The aunt is terrified and instructs the youngster to collect his belongings and go. The aunt warns him that his mother and brother were slain, and that if the military discovers that Sergei was her sister's child, they would also kill him. Her goal is to take Sergei and claim that he is her son, but before they can flee, German forces storm the house. The aunt assists Sergei in escaping via the window, but is shot. In terror, the child flees into the forest looking for a place to hide. He still has hope that his mother will locate him, but the young man can't foresee the difficulties that he will endure from now on. After a few hours, Sergei must discover a means to survive on his own. The youngster is drinking water on the banks of a river when he is surprised by the approach of some soldiers. He quickly seeks refuge, traumatized by what has occurred. Sergei sneaks beneath the roots of a giant tree for a few minutes, but something unexpected happens. When a snake comes near him, the little one is terrified, but he forces himself to keep silent. No fear is more terrifying to him than the prospect of sharing the same destiny as his family members. Meanwhile, the soldiers construct a fire and take advantage of the opportunity to rest. They leave after extinguishing the fire. Sergei is eventually able to escape the snake, and at this point, starving, the boy picks up one of the cans left by the men, hoping to find food leftovers. After a few days, the boy is so frail that he can hardly walk. On the way, he discovers several little fruits, but the area is shortly bombed, forcing Sergei to flee. That afternoon, it begins to rain, but the boy is so fatigued that he is unable to search for shelter. A few hours later, he is discovered by two Russian soldiers who transport him to their camp. Sergei is hailed by the commander, who immediately asks the assistance of his soldiers in feeding and caring for the young boy. A few hours later, the soldiers try to divert their attention by talking about their family members before engaging in another battle. A bomb, however, surprises them when they least expect it. Sergei's injuries are being treated at the infirmary by Nurse Katya. New wounded arrive at the scene as a result of the attack, and the woman hurries to tend to them all. Even though Sergei is weak and injured, he does not stop talking and is eager to learn more about becoming a soldier. One of the guards summons Katya, and when she steps outside the tent, she discovers a goat. Everyone wonders how the animal ended up in such a spot, but they are relieved since they will be able to drink milk and eat cheese in the coming days, something incredibly uncommon in their reality. The commander and his companions appear at that point. The man goes over to visit Sergei and is relieved to find that the youngster is slowly recovering. The boy claims he was given an injection with a large needle that caused much discomfort. He acknowledges that he wanted to flee at first, but due to his bravery, he opted to stay. Finally, Sergei requests to see the commander's pistol, and after unloading it, the man turns it over to him. When the young boy inquires about the signature on the side of the weapon, the commander discloses that it's a weapon of honor given to him as a gift. Hearing this, Sergei becomes even more enthusiastic and begins to simulate firing. The commander decides to take the weapon from the boy's hands and places it back in its holster, as he believes the boy is still too young to develop a taste for such things. Sergei, contrary to the commander's expectations, shows off the combat tank he designed on his belly before asking the commander if he owns a jet. Sergei chooses to draw an airship on the band that wraps around the commander's arm after realizing that the man has never owned one. When the commander leaves the tent, Katya summons the guts to confront him about the boy. The nurse requests that the boy be allowed to stay with them, but the commander refuses. He claims that the boy does not belong there and promises to take him to an orphanage later. Some troops pay a visit to Sergei, and the young man is thrilled to be able to use binoculars for the first time. Katya goes to her co-worker and tells her that she can't sleep because she can't stop thinking about Sergei since he has arrived. The woman states that the first time she saw him, something inside her shifted, similar to a maternal instinct. Katya confesses while she does not want the boy to be in the middle of the fight, she is afraid that the commander would move him somewhere else, and she will never be able to find him again. The following morning, one of the soldiers goes to speak with the commander. The soldier attempts to persuade him to leave the boy at the camp because the soldiers have become attached to him. After all, when they look at Sergei, their hearts warm because these men are battling for the future of the children. However, the commander reiterates that there's no room for children in that military camp. The commander acknowledges that he is likewise devoted to the young boy, but he must do what's best for him. Finally, the commander states that he has already signed the documents for the orphanage and that his men should begin to adjust to the fact that the young man will no longer be present. Several hours later, during an attack, the commander tells his forces to bomb the attackers while he travels to the battlefield to assist Katya in her rescue of a wounded soldier. When the conflict is over, they return to the camp, and the orphanage's director is waiting for Sergei. Though the man decides to wait in the car, Katya is so overcome with sadness that she chooses to leave without saying goodbye. The commander invites Sergei to sit next to him and tries to explain what would happen next. However, before he could say anything, the youngster bursts into tears and hugs him. He claims he was waiting for the commander and was worried that he wouldn't see him again. At that point, the commander hands him a wooden weapon and asks whether the youngster wants to be his son. The two embrace, and the commander rips up the orphanage document he had already signed. The next task is to find clothes that fit Sergei. The army's newest recruit needs a uniform that fits him. As a result, one of the soldiers sets aside some old pieces for the tailor to sew new garments from for the youngster. Katya then appears, holding the smallest boots she could find. They'd be great for Sergei with a few minor adjustments from the shoemaker. The commander goes to the boy's room the next morning to wake him up. He tells Sergei that he would have to be dressed in 45 seconds like a genuine soldier, and then he offers him his new outfit. The boy is overjoyed and rushes to get ready, but first inquires as to why the commander has a sticker plastered to his face. His new father claims that he cut himself while shaving by accident. The captain strikes a match and declares that Sergei must be ready before the wood completely burns. Following a number of lit matchsticks, Sergei is thrilled to show off his new uniform to his comrades. A surprise attack occurs at that time and the commander flees to protect his son. He directs one of his men to transport the boy to safety. During the bombardment, as everyone takes cover in the trenches, some soldiers are hurt, and Sergei goes to the infirmary to help care for them. He offers them some water and offers to assist with whatever else is required. One of the men, who has his eyes bandaged, asks if Sergei can read the letters given by his family, but the boy can't read yet and so begins inventing good news to present to the miserable soldier. As bombs continue to rain down outside, Sergei offers to sing for his comrades in order to calm them down. Everyone becomes emotionally involved. After all, it was a time of immense anxiety, and yet a child was able to provide solace and even hope to those ailing men. Sergei takes a nap on Katya's lap after those dark hours. Soon later, his father, the commander, enters and takes a seat next to the woman. He says that he needs to tell her something, but Sergei wakes up and ruins the whole plan. While the camp is being reconstructed, two soldiers notice Sergei shaving and decide to mock him by asking whether the lad was getting ready for a date. However, the boy claims to be a soldier, and soldiers, according to him, do not go on dates. Later, he goes and speaks to the commander to learn what his mission for the day will be. The commander inquires as to why the boy's face is bandaged, and Sergei explains that he injured himself while shaving due to an accident. After hearing this, he orders his son to go fetch the letters from the mail truck that is going to arrive and distribute them to the soldiers. When the men receive letters from their family, they begin to dance with joy, and the boy begins to enjoy his work even more. Sergei decides to utilize his camouflage outfit to sneak around the camp. Towards the end of the mission, he notices a pair of boots trying to squeeze into a hiding place as he looks through his binoculars. He instantly returns to the camp and orders some of his buddies to go find the intruder who was hidden in the haystack. Some of the men head there to see what's going on and end up encountering two enemy soldiers. After exchanging a few rounds, they manage to catch the soldiers, and Sergei returns to the camp. Meanwhile, one of the commander's soldiers informs him that his son assisted in the capture of the two spies. The man is taken aback and proud of the boy's boldness and modesty. Then Sergei enters his room and the man informs him of some exciting news. The commander has been granted permission to adopt the boy, and they will be a family from that point on. Sergei is pleased and urges his new father to go give Katya the good news. The youngster claims to have seen the woman cry when the commander was wounded in battle. The commander is taken aback when he hears this, but he still agrees to accompany Sergei. Meanwhile, Katya is washing herself on the riverbank when a soldier creeps up behind her and presents her with the bouquet of flowers he picked himself. The woman is clearly uncomfortable with the circumstance. Sergei and his father appear at that moment. The commander quickly recognizes the situation and pulls the youngster back. The commander attempts to conceal himself while watching carefully, but Sergei manages to break himself from his arms and dash towards Katya. Then he calls for his father, but the embarrassed man has already departed. A few days later, during another fight, the youngster travels through the trenches in search of one of the soldiers. The soldier directs the youngster to the underground refuge after getting the munitions. Sergei refuses to forsake his buddies, but the soldier convinces him that this is an order and that a good soldier obeys his superiors. Nonetheless, Sergei resolves to assist. He overhears his father and his men discussing a faulty connection. A wire has snapped and some soldiers were dispatched to repair it. Sergei decides to pursue them and crawls on the ground to avoid being shot. When he comes upon an injured soldier, he tries to assist and inquires about how to repair the wire. Sergei adheres to the directions for connecting the two ends. As a result, the connection is restored and the commander is able to request reinforcements. The boy's bravery may have saved hundreds of lives. Sergei begins devising a new strategy following the conflict. His next task is to bring Katya and his father together because he has noticed that they are interested in each other. For this, the youngster rushes to the nurse and informs her that the commander is ill, after which the nurse rushes to his room. When she arrives, she discovers the commander asleep on the table and wakes him up in despair. Meanwhile, Sergei is lurking and watching everything from outside. As Katya examines him, the commander awakens, frightened, and insists he is not sick. The commander knows his son's plan the moment the nurse describes what happened. He attempts to muster the courage to proclaim himself, but the woman is ashamed and leaves. However, he cannot pass up this opportunity and pursues her. Meanwhile, Sergei climbs a tree and observes the camp with his binoculars. At that point, he notices some rescue dogs arriving on the scene and rushes over to greet them. A few minutes later, the child requests permission to accompany them on a walk and climbs onto a wheeled stretcher as the animals pull him. The problem comes when the dogs spot a cat and begin chasing it. If they kept running like that, they'd soon run into a minefield, putting the boy's life in jeopardy. When one of the soldiers realizes this, he jumps onto his motorcycle and races to stop the dogs before it's too late. The soldier is overjoyed that Sergei is unharmed. The commander keeps attempting to talk to Katya in the forest, but when he finally gets through to her, he can't find the appropriate words to communicate exactly what he wants to say. So he decides to include Sergei in the plot and claims that the youngster adores the woman. He then asks Katya if she wants to be the boy's mother. However, before the nurse can react, a soldier appears and hands the commander a letter. It has a message from the high command on it, and the army prepares to leave the next day. They relax for a few hours at the home of some peasants. They realize after dinner that a German bomb had dropped on the house and was still there. The missile pierced the roof and floor but did not explode. The troops then decide to assist them in getting rid of the bomb before it causes any harm. They continue their march later and Sergei shares a ride with one of the soldiers and his father. Suddenly, the vehicle they're in explodes and the battalion discovers that it's landed in a minefield. The noise has confused Sergei and everyone else, and the boy discovers the soldier dead a few meters ahead. When they finally arrive at their destination, Sergei inquires about his assignment as his father speaks with the general. The commander requests that he inspect the soldiers' uniforms, and the boy enlists the assistance of an officer to do so. After inspecting all of the troops' boots and suits, he requests the man take down the names of those whose uniforms are damaged. After carrying out the order, the boy returns to the general's office to deliver the report. Late at night, Sergei and his father travel across the forest discussing the approaching awards ceremony. Sergei will of course receive the Guard insignia, which is a badge given to individuals who risk their lives to rescue the country. While celebrating his prize, a bomb is dropped and the commander is buried. The youngster attempts to get him out of there, but lacks the power to lift the rubble. Later, after the bombing, the commander is hauled out of there and given medical attention with the assistance of his soldiers. Despite his injuries, the man is able to recover and will soon be able to march again with his companions. The boy is now an inseparable member of the team. He has no relatives besides them and follows them wherever they travel during the conflict. The film concludes with the unit transferring to a new base. A voice in the background tells us that he even fought in the Stalingrad War and made it to Poland with the soldiers. He is now renowned as the world's youngest soldier, and the epic narrative of his bravery has been shared with the entire world.